The alarm buzzed throughout the room, waking Catherine from her heavy sleep. She tossed and turned in her bed, trying her best to melt into the comforters and embrace the softness of the bed and pillows, but the buzzing of the alarm clock kept hitting her on the head like a hammer. She blindly swatted her hand towards it, trying and failing to hit the stop button. But after a few attempts, the room went quiet, and she could relax her body. She took a deep breath and sighed, stretching her whole body. She finally opened her eyes, staring at the pale, blank ceiling above her. The cracks and misaligned patterns kept her fixated for what felt like hours as her mind wandered. She didn't think about anything in particular. The stress she had been experiencing over the past couple of weeks had been brewing in her mind like a tornado. She forced her eyes shut and wished to just sink into the bed once more. Her train of thought was broken when she heard a noise coming from the living room. The noise was familiar. She sighed. Here we go again. The noise was enough for her to finally get her out of bed. She put on her slippers and looked at herself in the mirror, observing her tired eyes, messy hair, and simple pajamas. Well, it's a good thing I'm not going inside. I just hope no one sees me like this. She slowly trudged down the hall and entered the living room to see her son, Max. He was still in his onesie with a messy breakfast that he made himself, laughing and singing to the cartoon he watched 24/7, Banban's Garten. Catherine looked at the cereal he kept spilling on the carpet as he danced and sung to the title theme like he always did. She was annoyed that this would be the 10th time this month that she would have had to clean the carpet, but she couldn't help but give an amused, tired smile. She couldn't quite understand what it was about this show that her son loved, but she knew she wasn't the only one. Banban's Garten was the #1 kids' cartoon in the country, and was especially popular in their hometown of Hyacinth County, a hometown they shared with the show's creator, Adam Uthman. It became so popular that they made a full kindergarten around the show, and it garnered hundreds of kids every year. It was so big, there were even plans to put in an elementary school wing. She appreciated how happy it made her son, especially for the past year. It was his own little escape. A safe one. Max finished a spin and saw that his mom was standing behind him. He slowly put the cereal back down on the floor and looked back at Catherine with an embarrassed expression. You excited? She asked. Max jumped up and down, waving his arms. Yeah, he shouted. His next jump caused his foot to tip over the cereal bowl and spill it all over the carpet. Max looked shocked for a moment before sheepishly looking up at his tired mom. Sorry, he said quietly. Catherine shook her head and gave a tired smile. It's all right, honey. Just something to do today. Just try to be careful next time, okay? Max nodded. Catherine kneeled down and fixed up his hair, which was askew from all the jumping around. I know you're excited about Bring a Friend Day today. I am too, and I bet Claire is as well. Max nodded fast and gave a big smile. It always made her happy to see Max smile. Well, unless you want to be late, I suggest you get dressed, brush your teeth, and get your backpack in order. Okay, Mommy, Max shouted and quickly ran down the hall to his room. Catherine slowly stood up, and her smile slowly disappeared. She looked back at the mess on the floor and rolled her eyes. Just something to do today, she repeated, with an additional, something to do later. She bent down and picked up the bowl and spoon, walked past the TV, and entered the kitchen. She surveyed the messy kitchen that she forgot to clean up last night, the dishes and bowls piling up in the sink, and the ones in the dishwasher that had yet to be put away. Looking on the counter, she saw the aftermath of Max's makeshift breakfast. Milk and cereal spilled on the counter, with some remnants dripping off the edge onto the floor. An attempt at making butter toast had ended with mangled bread, lobs of butter everywhere, and countless crumbs in the butter container. Catherine looked around in a tired daze. How long had it been since she saw her house spotless? How long had it been since she didn't have to clean up something every 5 minutes? She couldn't remember. She had been trying her best to keep Max happy and keep her house well organized and clean, but recently she found it hard to concentrate on both, so she focused mainly on Max. He didn't really seem to notice, and as long as he didn't notice and care, then she could get away with it. Hopefully for as long as she's able to. "Mommy, I'm ready!" Max's high-pitched voice broke Catherine out of her trance. She put a bright mask over her dour expression as she turned around and saw Max with his backpack, Velcro shoes, and a special shirt that he picked for this occasion. But in the excitement, he had put his shirt on backwards. "Well, you almost got it," Catherine remarked. She lifted his arms and helped turn the shirt back around, revealing the design that was on the front. It was a picture of one of the characters from the show, Captain Fiddles, with one hand on his hip and the other wielding a sword which was raised to the sky. He had a heroic look on his face. There was text on the top and bottom that said, "A brave pirate is always ready for adventure." Captain Fiddles had been one of Max's favorite characters on the show. He had his own segment on the show called Captain Fiddles' Seafaring Adventures. Max enjoyed his segments because of the songs, the lessons, the action, and of course, Captain Fiddles. Max always thought Fiddles was brave, smart, funny, and caring. He once said that Fiddles reminded him of his dad, a statement that hurts Catherine every time she thinks about it. "There, all fixed. You want to make sure everyone sees it at school today, especially Claire." Max nodded furiously, his short brown hair waving in tandem with his head. Catherine looked him up and down and adjusted his clothes while going over his checklist. "Did you put your books in your bag?" "Mm-hmm." "Did you brush your hair?" "Uh-huh." "Did you brush your teeth?" A pause. "Max, did you brush your teeth?" "No," he said in a guilty tone. "Why not?" "I don't like brushing my teeth, and I want to go to school with Claire." Catherine looked at her phone and checked the time. 7:40 a.m. She looked back at Max, who was giving his trademark puppy eyes, a tactic that almost always worked when it came to getting what he wanted. It was something that Catherine had trouble saying no to. She sighed, knowing she had once again been defeated. "Well, it is the last day of school, and I know you're going to have a fun day with the rest of your classmates. And I know how excited you are to show Claire around the school." "Yeah?" Max waited breathlessly. "Alright, you can skip brushing your teeth this morning, only because it's a special day today and we're running a little late." Max jumped up and down and made little squeals and screams of excitement as he abruptly rushed for the front door. "Slow down, kiddo. I don't want you slamming your face in the car door again." Catherine grabbed the car keys and walked at a more leisurely pace compared to her sugar-filled son. As she opened the back car door, he flung himself in and scrambled onto his booster seat. He tried to fasten himself, but kept missing, which prompted Catherine to do it for him. She tousled his hair, gave him a kiss on his head, and got in the car herself. Pulling out of the driveway, she looked back at the house that had kept her safe for all these years. It was a little worn, some windows were cracked, and some of the roof had missing shingles, but it was still standing. It wasn't perfect, but it was home. Their home. And there was nothing wrong with it. It wasn't too far a drive to Claire's house. She lived in the same neighborhood, so all it took was a few turns and they were there, stopping at the white house with the perfectly square windows, cut grass, and the fancy mailbox that opened from both sides. The front door of the house opened with Claire bolting out the door towards the car, while her mom, Beth, walked out the same pace that Catherine did when she left her house. Catherine had known Beth the same amount of time Max knew Claire. They had met on a playground that rested in a nice corner of the neighborhood, and the two kids had instantly connected. The moms had enjoyed each other's company, and when they saw how well the kids got along, they might as well have tried to get along themselves. They both had similar likes and interests. As time moved on, Catherine looked at Beth more and more and saw all the things she had that she didn't. A good house, a husband, a well-paying job, and they looked happy overall. She didn't hate her, but she grew jealous of the perfect life she had. Every time she went over to her house, she tried not to stay long and tried to keep the conversations brief. Catherine looked in the car's mirror and remembered what she looked like, so she quickly tried to make herself presentable before Beth saw her. Claire opened the car door and jumped in, giving Max a big hug.
"Maxie!"
she shouted.
"Hi, Claire,"
Max replied. Beth quickly rushed to Claire. "Sweetie, hold on. I need to put the booster seat in." Claire looked back at her mom, still beaming with excitement.
"Sorry, Mommy. I got excited."
Claire crawled backwards out of the car and back onto the driveway. She bounced up and down impatiently as her mom put in the booster seat.
"Hi, Max,"
Beth said.
"Hi, Claire's mom,"
he responded. Beth giggled, always amused by whatever Max said. "You're always so polite, Max. But like I said before, you can call me Mrs. Denemere."
"Okay, Mrs. Denvere?"
Beth giggled again. Well, maybe Claire's mom is alright for now. Catherine joined in on the conversation. You know, it feels like every time I see her, Claire talks more and more. I know, right? Can you believe she's only a year younger than Max? I have been meaning to get Claire into a kindergarten for a while now, so when I heard of this Bring a Friend Day program at Banban's Garten, I figured, why not? It's a free day where kids can learn, have fun, and experience a new school in a fun way. And it's cheaper than most kindergartens I saw, so that's a bonus. Plus, she loves that show as much as Max does. I swear she was talking about it every day when I told her about this program. Max is the same way. He loves that show. Loved it ever since Dan... well, you know. Beth could feel the atmosphere shift, and Catherine could sense that she knew. Sorry, I didn't mean to... No, it's okay. Really. I understand. Beth picked up Claire and fastened her in the booster seat, kissed her on the head, and closed the door. She walked over to the car door by Catherine and could see the sad expression that she was trying to hide. You know, it's been a while since we hung out, just the two of us. Maybe one day we can make plans to go out, get something to eat. Mark can watch the kids while we're gone, and just relax. What do you think? This was probably the 10th time Beth had offered an invite for a hangout, and it was going to be the 10th time Catherine rejected it. Maybe. I don't know. I have a lot of things to do back at home. It was also the 10th time that she used that excuse. Hey, that's okay. I just hope you know that I'm here for you. You know that, right, Kat? Despite the envy she felt for her, Catherine did think Beth was a good friend. Beth didn't do anything wrong, but she couldn't deny what she was feeling. She didn't want Beth to see how pathetic she was. She looked at the dashboard clock and figured the running late excuse could work on her. God, I'm running late. I gotta go, Beth. I don't want these kids to be late. Oh, okay. But just remember what I said, okay, Kat? Bye, Max. Bye, Claire, sweetie. I hope you have fun.
"Bye, Mommy,"
Claire shouted.
"Bye, Claire's mom,"
Max exclaimed. Catherine just waved and gave a small bye as she pulled out of the driveway and looked back at Beth's perfect house as they drove out of the neighborhood. The drive from their house to the school wasn't far, about 15 minutes at most, but it took longer if there was any traffic. Usually on these long trips to the kindergarten, Max would always ask Catherine to put on the official Banban's Garden sing-along CD and sing all the way there on the drop-off and all the way back at pickup. However, Max was so busy talking and laughing with Claire that he didn't ask this time. Maybe thinking selfishly isn't too bad, Catherine thought. Turning a corner, Catherine saw the giant 3-story kindergarten in her sights. She turned towards Max and Claire, who were still too distracted by each other to notice. Pulling up against the curb, she saw there were still a few parents dropping off their kids. It brought Catherine relief knowing she wasn't the last one to show up. There were also a few teachers out front hurriedly rushing the kids inside. Well, these days are always pretty busy, so I guess they would need to have everybody accounted for, including the new kids that will be coming, Catherine thought. She saw one of Max's teachers walking at a brisk pace towards her car. So much for not going inside. I just hope she doesn't say anything. Catherine exited the car and put on a friendly mask for her. Good morning, Miss Weverly. Busy day today, huh? Good morning, Catherine. You wouldn't believe how busy it is today. We've gotten so many more kids this year than any other Bring a Friend Day. We're just trying to get everyone situated before morning announcements. If you don't mind, can I help unbuckle the kids? We're in a bit of a rush. Oh, not at all. They've been talking to each other so much they barely noticed we were here. Once they're unbuckled, they'll head straight for the doors. Catherine laughed. Catherine walked over to Claire's side while Miss Weverly opened Max's side. Max was startled by the noise of the door opening and seeing his teacher suddenly appear in front of him. Hi, Max. Ready for some fun today? Max looked behind her and finally realized where he was. He quickly tried to undo his restraints, but his shaky hands were proving it too difficult. Miss Weverly giggled at Max's excitement. Hold on, Max, I got it. I know you're excited, but remember what Bambolina always says, patience is its own reward. Miss Weverly looked up at Claire, who was being helped by Catherine. You must be Max's friend. Welcome to Banban's garden. What's your name?
Claire.
She shyly replied. Miss Weverly is one of Max's teachers. She's really nice and kind and smart, and if you're really good, she'll give you one of her homemade good kid cookies. Careful, Catherine, I don't want to run out of ingredients because so many kids were on their best behavior. Maybe I should limit the cookies next semester. Don't worry, Claire really is a good kid. She and Max are best friends, and I know she's just as excited for this as Max is. I can imagine. As soon as Miss Weverly brought Max to the ground, he made a mad dash for the door while shouting, Bye, Mommy! Careful, Max, no running! You don't want to leave Claire behind, Miss Weverly shouted back. As Catherine brought Claire around the car, she said, Well, she's maybe not as excited as Max. Catherine went down to Claire's level. Go on, Claire. Take Miss Weverly's hand and she'll take you inside. Claire hesitantly did so, as Catherine raised herself back up to Miss Weverly's level. I don't want to keep you too long. I know you're busy as is. I know. Don't worry, we'll take good care of them. And I'll talk to you later about Max's next enrollment. Thanks. I wasn't sure what to think about them adding an elementary school edition, but it saves the trouble of looking for another one. Yeah. I hope you have a good day, Catherine. You too. Tell Max's mom bye, Claire. Claire looked back at Catherine as she walked towards the building. Bye! She shouted. Bye, Claire. Bye, Max. I'll see you after school. Catherine walked back around to the driver's seat as she saw Miss Waverly and Claire walk up to Max as he eagerly awaited to get inside the building. As Miss Waverly offered her other hand to Max, 2 staff members stationed outside opened the doors for them. Max took Miss Waverly's hand and they all entered the school, Max bouncing up and down the whole way. Catherine smiled and let out a sigh of relief, knowing she had a couple more hours to herself before pickup. But since it was Bring a Friend Day, the school extended the day by a few more hours. They wanted to give the kids more time to have some fun and enjoy the activities the teachers and staff had set up for them. Catherine drove off as she thought about what to do with the rest of the time she had. She could clean up the house, make the beds, pick up Max's toys, maybe consider talking to Beth instead of that hangout after all. As she thought of all those options, her head spun. It was so much to do with not enough time, and all of it kept piling up. And after today, she would have even less time since Max will be home for a couple of months before the next semester. She looked at the rearview mirror, watching the building disappear around the corner behind the trees. I think I just gotta rest for a bit, she said aloud. Then maybe I can do something. Her eyes fixated on the road as she made the long drive back home, to her simple, well-kept neighborhood, to her broken, cracked house, the one that she was fine living in, because at least, in her eyes, it was still there.